Trying to get a couple players in, mess with me, you know. My man goes in. I don't know what they're doing. Let's see. Fuck it, we just gonna go in here and do our thing. Stop. Okay. Come on, give us one more.
Most people think you need a lot of money to start real estate investing. Most people think about only doing rentals or buy fixing it.
Yo, we live on location. Me and D Miles is staying our ass home here in Orlando. We in Orlando, staying quarantined and staying our ass at home. But we got them 5G towers that's keeping us connected. And we got our boy live on location from Tar Heel Country, from Chapel Hill.
Well, give us one more, okay?
Mr. Ball Don't Lie. You know what I'm talking about? Tar Heel legend, NBA champ, and our big bro. We got Rasheed Wallace pulling up on us, man. Tune in, check it out.
First of all, man, I'd like to thank you for, being on the show. Like, definitely a big fan of yours, so we definitely want to thank you.
Come on, man. You know I love y'all guys, man.
Brought to you by AT&T 5G.
So the first question we ask everybody who come on the show is, when you first got to the league, who was the first person to bust your ass?
Alright, I'm going to tell y'all, day one, game one, preseason game, so my rookie season, I'm on the Washington Bullets, so my teammates is Chris Webber, Juan Howard, two of the Fab Five. I got Big George Murasine, 7'7". I got my old head Bob McCann, who was the traveling man, power forward. I got Robert Pack. I got a good team. Right? So, boom, we go down to Mexico City. We playing the Spurs. So it's a home and home game. So the first night, they're the home team, dog. So David Robinson, in 30 minutes, gave me 30 points, about 17, 18 rebounds, and about 6 or 7 blocks. In my first NBA outing, bro. You hear me? And look, I swear to goodness, I think I would have called everybody if we was back in the States, but that long distance and all that back then.
You tell nobody about that.
Man, that bottle was my friend. I done took some Coronas to the head. I was like, yo, he bust my ass, yo. So the next night, team, dog. So David Robinson, in 30 minutes, gave me 30 points, about 17, 18 rebounds, and about 6 or 7 blocks. In my first NBA outing, bro. You hear me? And look, I swear to goodness, I think I would have called everybody if we was back in the States, but that long distance and all that back then.
You tell nobody about that.
Man, that bottle was my friend. I done took some Coronas to the head. I was like, yo, he bust my ass, yo. So the next night, we playing him again. Same thing, David Robinson. So now he busted my ass again, but it wasn't as bad.
It wasn't as bad.
I gave him some fight this time. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, yo. He got me though. I can't front on the Admiral, man. He got me.
Hey, people don't really talk about David like that, man. He kind of get lost in the shuffle of his greatness and how athletic he was and everything he brought to the table. When they talk about Big, we really don't hear his name, period.
Yeah, at all. And he was a problem. He was a problem for a lot of centers because he shoot that 15-footer. Yup, run the floor. I got post game. I got defense. Strong. He's going to pump.
Action figure.
That boy, action figure out there.
Straight up. Philly, Simon Grant's high school. Like, how was it like when you first got to Simon Grant's? Was it could have been another high school, or you always, when you grew up, you was like, man, I'm going to Simon Grant's and I'm going to kill?
Well, with that, it was all on who I knew. At the time when I was a young boy, I had just started playing basketball, probably like about the 7th grade, so that's about, 12, 13 years old, something like that. I just started playing basketball, and only thing I could do was block shots, because I was a little bit taller than all the other kids, and I could run the floor because track is my first love. That's my main event, track and field. And so I just incorporated the running and the running the floor. That's all I could do, running block shots. I couldn't do nothing else. And so it wasn't like Gratz was a chosen figure, like, yeah, I know I'm gonna go there, but I just ended up there, and it was already written. My path was already written. That's how I got to see it, because I ended up with, to me, all-star, all-world Hall of Fame coach and Bill Ellerby. And I played on that same team with Aaron McKee. You know, y'all played against Aaron McKee too. He was my senior. I was a freshman. He was a senior. Okay. And we had another All-American guy by the name of Harry Moore. So we had a pretty good team. We had big guards, and next thing I know, I'm watching them. We in practice, and Harry Moore gets shot at a house party. So he gets shot in the leg, so he can't make the trip. So now we in the hospital. You know, I'm crying. I'm like, oh, my man up there laid up and everything. He like, look, it's your time now. You need to go ahead, hold it down till I get back. And we went out to Vegas. That was my first, like, I guess, national tournament. And, you know, we held our own. I held my own a little bit. You know, I still got my chops busted because I was still new to the game a little bit. But I held my own, and I think we ended up placing, like, maybe third or fourth in that tournament. But from there on, it was nothing but, all right, we're going to run this up here. So it ended up being my senior year, won undefeated. In my high school tally, I won 3 city championships. I got 2 national championships, a couple of parade All-American stuff. So I would definitely have to get everything that I'm about, that She Wallace is about, to Bill Ellerby and Simon Gratz. That's where it all started at. That's what this bulldog is on my arm. Okay. I remember that's where it all started at. I remember the bulldog. Right. Yeah.
So tell me this: at what point between you starting that in 7th grade,
man, y'all can't give me a game, man.
To that pinnacle,
damn, 2K.
And parade All-American. At what point in between there did you realize
we gonna go to another part?
Start, you know, in our eyes, the hooping, like most of us start hooping as soon as we could run or something, like as soon as we could get up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 7th grade is kind of late for us. You know what I'm saying? But like, at what point did you feel like, okay, like I'm figuring this out, I'm kind of nice, and then everybody started like coming to heap that praise, start getting college level? Like, at what point did that turn for you when you became like that national guy, ranked guy, and began to get that attention?
I would have to say it was my freshman year in high school when we won the city championship. I know for a fact I wasn't on the scouting report of the opposing team because, one, I wasn't starting. I only started in the beginning of the year because my man had got shot, but he came back. So I wasn't on the scouting report or anything like that, but my coach knew what I could do. So the main thing, they wanted to play a 2-3 zone, so my coach overloaded one side and flashed me to the elbow, and where I won the game at. I ended up having like 27 points from the elbow, and we ended up winning the city championship. And then that's when it kind of sort of clicked a little bit, like, oh, like, all right, I'm pretty good, but I only thought city, yo. I didn't think country or nothing. I only thought like, all right, I can hold my own here in North Philly. You know what I'm saying? In Germantown and South Philly, I can hold my own. So, like, all right. And as I got older, I didn't even think I was going to go to college. Real talk, you. Until I sat down with my high school coach, like the end of my 11th grade year, going into my senior year. He like, what's your plans? I'm like, look, I'm gonna get a 9 to 5. You know, I'm gonna work where my brother worked at over at Sears in the factory, because that's all I knew. You know, no one in my immediate family had went to college. So my coach said, no, you're going to college. And I'll be damned if no other conversation I ever listened to, I'm thankful that I listened to that one. Because it helped launchpad who I am.
When you came out, like, could have been anybody else? Like, could Villanova, anybody else could have got you instead of North Carolina?
Yeah, my top schools, or my top 5, 4 or 5 was Georgetown, Villanova, Temple.
I finally convinced my team, and we're giving away 8 pre-built Shopify stores away for only $17.
Georgetown, Villanova, Temple, Carolina, and Howard, believe it or not. Because of Coach Butch Beard. But at the time when I was in school, you only could do 4 visits, so I took the top 4. I had to take the Villanova and Temple because one, my high school coach told me to. He said that's out of respect because I was hanging out on that campus so much, and in the summertime playing pickup games on campus so much. So he said that's out of respect. And then he said, you know, with Georgetown and Carolina, he said that's up to you. So they were my final schools, and my heart, real talk, my heart was set on Georgetown. With Coach John Thompson, because that's all I saw. I was a big Pat Ewing fan. I grew up in the Big East area, and with him, and Pat Ewing was the tallest athletic dude I've seen on TV outside of Edwin Moses, the Olympic star. Right. So I was like, man, and I'm tall, so I wonder if he get called a lot of names like I got called, Big Ox and this and that. But just being a fan of Pat Ewing, all right, I got the opportunity to go where he went, so I was definitely thinking about it. The only reason I didn't, because my freshman year I wouldn't have no point guard, and who would have known that next year it would have been the AI chapter again.
Yeah. What was it about Dean Smith that made you just fall over? Like, just made you commit to North Carolina? Because Dean Smith is a legend. He coached these legends. He already won championships. Like, he done did it. Like, his legacy is set. Anything else, he's just adding on to the cake.
Yeah.
But,
I would say Coach Smith, his persistence, number one, and of course, his status already held weight with me. I think at the time, the four biggest coaches that I can remember that I liked that recruited me, one was Coach Smith, Coach John Thompson, Coach John Chaney, and what's your man? Coach Syracuse. Jim Boeheim. Jim Boeheim. Them were like, to me, the four biggest coaches, ever. And then here it is, they're interested in me. But I think what really sold me though, real talk dog, was after Carolina won it, like the night before I was watching the game, you know what I'm saying? Boom. All right, yeah, Carolina, hey, won it. That next day I go to school. So I come home from school. So, I come in the house, boom. And I walk by the living room, I'm like, whoa. I hear my mom sitting in there with somebody, and I take a couple steps back and look back like, and who's sitting in the living room? Coach Phil Ford, who to me is the best player to ever come out of Carolina. Yes, I said it, y'all, even before Better Than Mike. And Coach Dean Smith. And my jaw dropped like Coach, ain't you supposed to be somewhere celebrating? You just won a hard-earned national championship. I'm where I'm supposed to be. And, we had a good exchange that evening, and I was off to Carolina.
Now you at Carolina, and you got, it's like you can kind of form you a Voltron. You can form you a big squad. You get you somebody like Stackhouse. Somebody mean, he rugged, you know what I'm saying? Like to play like how you like to play. Like, how is that to have somebody like Stackhouse to play with in college and start your college career off going like that?
It was awesome to play with him and Jeff McGinnis. That was the other freshman. It was the three of us, and man, we called ourselves the Young Guns. Of course they ended up signing with Carolina first, and I think we were either at the McDonald's game or it might have been some other little all-star game at the time, and they was telling me like, come on man, like what you gonna do? Like we got what it is. We got a big point guard. We got the wing slasher. All we need is the big. I'm like, man, all right, let's rock and roll then. So it was awesome though, man, and to have a lot of the battles that we did, even though Stack and I were only there for 2 years, but a lot of schools still came at us, and man, we gave them everything that we had down here in Carolina.
Hey, tell me, how was it to be a part of that legendary battle, the rivalry you guys got with Duke? How was that for you when you first got there, to be in that environment and that whole intensity? How was that for you to experience that as a freshman? Home and away, because both of y'all arenas are like legendary. So
it's 8 miles apart.
Right.
8 miles, it's about like this far apart. 8 miles apart. But when I first checked into the game, my first bucket was a putback dunk and one. I almost hyperventilated. I almost passed out right there on the floor.
Yeah, so just straight blacked out. Well, here,
man, and so I was so hyped, but to be part of that rivalry, it's awesome, because anything, I don't care who's on the team, what your rank, throw all that out the window. And I think to me, it's like the basketball guys must live down here somewhere, or touch down on earth during these Carolina Duke battles, because man, some of the finishes. You wouldn't believe some of the games itself, the overtime double. I was involved in one of the best with the double overtime. When Jeff Capel hit the 35-40 footer from half court to send it into OT. But I will say this, even though with Duke, it's the greatest rivalry in sports. To me, I'll say this about that: I never lost it.
Okay.
I know that. Hey.
Your shit one thing.
And it's
Googleable. Let the record state it's Google. Let the record state.
Yeah.
Me and Stack never lost.
Man, I remember Stack. I was telling Stack when we talked to Stack. I said, man, every time I think about this North Carolina and Duke, I just see you when you reverse dunked on the other side and just start screaming and doing his head like that. I said,
we call that the monk dunk.
The monk dunk.
Yeah, because he started doing the Donkey Kong after it was like. So on campus for that week, we just call him the monk dunk.
Well, you decided to come out. What made you decide to come out?
It was that time. Pretty much felt it. Was sitting there, Stack and I, truth be told, was sitting there in the locker room, the Final Four, and in Seattle, and we just felt as though that it was time. For me, I felt it was time, and my family situation at home made it time.
Right.
So, it was, I had to do what I had to do and take that big step forward to help my family out.
When you got drafted, did you think it was going to be somebody else you was going to instead of the Bulls?
No, I knew I was going there. At first, the Sixers wanted me. The Sixers was going to pick me third. I think that's when that's when our old head John Lucas was coaching, I think. Okay. So the Sixers wanted me, but I told them, I was like, nah, I said, I don't want to go there. Don't pick me, or contract holdouts and all that, because I just didn't want to deal with that pressure exactly of being now in high school. Okay, I could deal with it because there's only a couple people around the city, and my high school that's all right, the pressure. But now you're a professional athlete, and I'm not only from Philly, representing Philly, I'm playing for Philly. I was like, at that time, I said I couldn't deal with that pressure, so I told my agent to tell them not to draft me. And I think from the way that my career turned out, that it was a pretty good move, because I know it wouldn't have been nothing but downhill for me if I would have got drafted by the Sixers.
Tell me how special it was for you to get drafted, with Stack, your brother, and then y'all get drafted back to back. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, that's like some never before seen. Like, me and D Miles tight, and we got drafted. He was third, I was 18, and it was still crazy for us to get drafted on the same day and, achieve that thing. How was that for y'all boys to go through, just losing in the Final Four and all that? Then y'all got the biggest moment of y'all life y'all get to share together.
It was awesome, man. It was awesome. I can remember after the draft was over, after the whole green room effect and everything. The draft was in Toronto. That was the first year of the Raptors as well. So here it is. We walking back across the parking lot, walking back to the hotel in Toronto, and we like, man, like we just got drafted, yo. Like we just made it. Like like all them days in the gym, all them days when the coach was in your ass and saying this, saying that, and you couldn't make this many foul shots. I was like, here it is. I was like, we made it. I was like, this is the first part of it, and then having veterans already with, acclimated with Carolina and coming back in the summertime and letting us know, like, look, the easy part is to make it, but the hard part is to stay. So we was like, all right, we got part one over with, but it was still exhilarating, man. My brother to go third and I'm right behind him at fourth. I'm like, man, that was high five all up in that green.
I remember sitting at home watching that, like, yo, this crazy. They teammates got drafted back to back and all this. I was like, but for like when you think about it, like for us, like that's how we was. We got drafted in Minnesota that night. Had like a little party there. Like I can remember us. That's one of the vivid memories I have from that. Like I don't remember much from the party, but I remember us. Like several of us, me, D, Miles talking to each other. I remember saying something to the Kmart in the party, like, yo, man, we here. Like everybody just hype, like we here. Everybody get that one little moment where I don't know if you take a shot, drink, or scream, or whatever you do, but you like, dude, we here. Like it's crazy.
We made it, yeah.
You on the team with the Bullets now. You watch Chris Webber win Rookie of the Year with Golden State, and he's on this team now. Like, How was your mindset going into it, looking at that roster and looking at what you got to do for the team?
Oh, lost my shit.
Man, I was all in. I was gung ho.
That's my bad, yo. I just shot that bitch because I was open right there for real. If I was closer, I probably would have drilled that.
Exactly.
Like, we all love the Fat Five. If you from, you know what I'm saying, the black neighborhoods, as a young boy coming up, you love the Fat Five. So, with me watching him when I was in high school, you know, the baggy shorts and you know, the black socks, and, you know, but as hardcore as they were. And now, wait, you know, I'm on the team with Juwan Howard and Chris Webber. I'm like, I'm gung ho. I'm gung ho. I'm all in. I was so excited, man. You know, then when they both came to my signing day, that really made me like solidified to me like, all right, these some good old heads right here. These some good brothers right here. And they throughout my career, they've always been, man. You know, none of them never did no flaking type things, doing me trying to go Hollywood or none of that. Like, nah. So I love them brothers to this day, man.
Nah, they're two real ones. Like Juwan, that's our OG now. That's dude right there. That's the homie. And see Webb.
You had him in Miami too.
You know, that's from the crib. That's my OG from Chicago. You know,
that's even better.
Every Sunday in hoops, see the picture of perfection. We show up to work out. Him and Pinball, they icing up. OG status. That's the OG for real. Hey, this is what I want to ask you though. Like you got to play with one of my favorite point guards ever, man. I think he get a little more respect nowadays, but I still don't think he get the proper respect he deserved, man. Rod Strickland, bro. Like, how was that to see how much of a magician and like how ill he was with that ball and how he got one of the all-time greatest layup packages ever, bro. Like, as far as, like, I don't care if his body and big men or whatever it was, he had a sick layup package. Like, how was that playing with that dude, and then he one of the coolest dudes, too?
Man, I had the opportunity I got traded for Rod when I was in Washington. At the time, he was in Portland. So, boom, we was pretty much the main trade. But during my tenure in Portland, Rod came back for about, I say 3 months.
I didn't realize y'all got traded for each other. I just remember y'all playing together.
Yeah. It was Rod and Harvey Grant for me and Mitchell Butler.
Right.
From UCLA.
Yeah, I shout out Mitch. I know Mitch.
Yeah. For them 3 months I was playing with Rod, everything was easy. Everything was easy. Like, no, he ain't got the greatest J4 point guard, but he can knock it down. But I don't care. He gonna get to that bucket, dog.
Man.
He gonna get to that bucket and give you that that last second drop off for you to dunk lay up, whatever.
He set the table.
What do we ever, like a great waiter in a 5-star restaurant, man?
Straight up. At the time when you came in the league, center and big man was like the most dominant positions in the league. Everybody had centers and power forwards everywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, for you to get a chance when Weber got hurt, to get a chance to actually play a lot.
Oh, they played you.
Play a lot of minutes. When was that point where you was like, man, I can hold my own in this league the right way?
It was around the time when Webb went down. He had a little freak ankle accident, you know, twisted his ankle when we were out in Phoenix. And that was my night to do it from there. And I knew basketball. So I knew, one, I wasn't going to get no plays. I had to earn my buckets, you know, little tipping, run the floor, rebound.
Fill in,
And two, I knew the ball was going through Juwan. Because at the time, I don't know if y'all remember, Juwan was the first $100 million man.
First $100 million man, period.
$105 million. So I knew the rock was going through him. So I wasn't complaining to Coach Jimmy Lionel or whatever. That's my man too. I wasn't complaining to him about nothing. I knew what it was. I knew the game. I knew where I fell at on a pecking order. So, all right, for me to get some buckets, for me to shine, run. Run, get some dunks. And that's what it was. You know, they knew they could throw me the hoops. I was the high flyer on the team. You know, you got the high flyer,
young
the
legs.
shooter, you got the defender, young legs.
Run like a deer, jumping out the gym.
Man,
Lob that.
He told me a good one. So we
good shot.
somewhere one day, and I'm in a layup line giving the crowd my dunk contest. I'm giving them everything, right? Boom, and they just regular, right? I'm like, yo, I'm like, man, give me something. I'm trying to talk junk to them. They like, hey, young fella, he said it's gonna become a day when you in that layup line with all that dunking shit. Nah, you ain't gonna be doing it.
You're just trying to loosen this shit up.
Just trying to loosen up, and I'll be dead. It triggered my head. The first day that I was just in the layup line, like years later, like I was like, oh, I see what Newt meant now.
Hey, we all been there, bro. We all been there. Then you turn around before you know you got some little young punk talking about you old, calling you OG. You like, man, like I came in here 19, boy. I was calling everybody old. Now they calling.
You done did your thing in Washington, and like you done made a name for yourself, and now where a team wants you to come to them and be the man now, like important trade for you, you know, to bring you over here to be the man. Now, how was that to a team, first off, a team to commit to you, and knowing what you finna bring to the table, you finna get your opportunity to get all the plays, and they come through you and stuff like that. How was that?
Man, truth be told, it was a little bit easy, and I gotta thank my old heads for that, my veterans for that. Cliff Robinson, Jerome Kersey, and Kevin Duckworth, rest in peace. So, cause they told me the real about, you know, how it is. They didn't put a lot of pressure on me, like, all right, yo, you gotta go out here and get us 30, or we not gonna win. You know, it was never none of that. So to just sit back and listen to them, I was like, all right, now just go. And then what I like to do, I'm not about no one-man show. Because I feel like, yeah, if I wanted to, I could go out there and average 30. I could have went out there and put up at least 20, 25 shots a game, but it wouldn't have got me more than half of the wins that I did end up getting in my career or anything like that. So we're going to incorporate all 5 of these guys, because I'd rather get slapped. You can slap me and poke me in the eye, but it's just all loose. But what's going to hurt more if you get punched? So my whole team philosophy is like, look, let's come together. Let's punch these cats in the face. And we almost did that with LA, man, but they had the greatest athlete on earth at that time, bro. Big Shaq, man. Shaq wasn't going for none of that, yo.
I remember when we first got to the league, and like y'all had a lot of superstar players, like in the sense of big names and all that stuff. Portland always kept like big names on their team, from the DAs, Damon Stoudemire, Bonzi made a name. You had Pip and all that, but you was the only one that was really dunking like that, like that. So when we used to play against y'all used to kick the shit out of, and sometimes we'd get that bitch close to y'all. But we would dunk and you would be mad them up. So every time you dunk, you would get the hollering, screaming and shit. I remember Bonzi stole that bitch from me, right? I'm getting the rebound, so I'm trying to push every time, trying to make sure I get down the court before the big man, because I'm playing power forward. And Bonzi stole that bitch early, and when he stole it, I tried to look back, and he threw that bitch up in the air, and you just grabbed it with one hand. I didn't even think you could
way back here.
I didn't think you could catch that motherfucker. You caught that motherfucker way back here, and you dunked it so hard and hollered. I just shook my head. It wasn't, you know how you wave at somebody and get out the way? That's what I did.
It's like, keep it going. Oh, yeah, I remember that play. Yeah, everybody always send me that, too. I would say, I got 3 good dunks in my baggie, Miles. That was one of them. The first time I dunked on 3 cats, when I dunked on them 3 dummies from Duke. And that's all in the same photo shot with the tip dunk. And then I had a good dunk one time when I was in high school, foot back, where my knee was on his cat neck, and he was about 6'3", and the ref called the over the back on me, because I was like, what? He said, man, your knee was on his neck. And I'll be damned, I lie to y'all not, right hand to the man, my science teacher at the time, Mr. Hussein, he took a picture of it. I'll be damned. So you part of that though, D Miles, my man.
Oh no, hey bro. Man. I don't got no problem with it, bro. Hey, when you play this game and you really play D, you gonna get dunked on and you gonna block a couple of dunks. So
yeah, I'm glad we got to share that, because he always trying to talk shit about me, about my first dunk on was Mookie Blaylock, and he be, first of all, I can't remember, I want to say my first time.
How can you brag on Mookie Blaylock? He shouldn't even tell nobody no shit like that, right?
First of all, Rashid.
Mookie.
No, Mookie. But Rashid, the truth is the truth. You can't make up somebody that you asked me the first person I done, so I gotta tell the truth. I can't say it was Shaq. If it wasn't Shaq, it was Mookie Blaylock. It was Mookie Blaylock.
Do you remember when we first came in the league and we used to play against y'all? Cause we used to play against y'all a whole lot.
I remember y'all. Hey, they made. Yeah, you was out there in the West with me with the Clippers, and they made a big name about y'all fellas, especially when y'all started doing all this right here.
None of the coaches wanted us to do it.
But look, but that's what gave y'all staple. So anytime you had the kids that, back home in the schoolyard doing all that and everything, and it was just something that we do up in the black community or whatever. So I knew what it was. No, it was, to me, that was tough. I loved y'all young boys, man. When y'all came to the league, y'all was the young gunners. Y'all was the young gunners.
Bring all the energy and stuff like that. We happy to be in that motherfucker.
I know back out.
I played for the Clippers. I get drafted to the worst team. I played for the Clippers. And they trade me to the Cavs, which is the worst team in the NBA. So I finally get traded to a playoff team, and I got Sheed Wallace, I got Zebo, Damon Stoudemire, Derek Anderson, Ruben Patterson, like Dale Davis. I'm like, oh my God, this finna go down. I remember they just lost the game with the Lakers, all that stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm finna make the playoffs. I ain't made the playoffs. This like my 5th year. So I get there, and the first day Sheed say, D-Miles, I'm about this joint. I'm like, what? Do you remember we played together when I got traded there? We played together for probably about a month. We probably played 15 games, but we won like 13 of them. We beat the Lakers, went on the East Coast swing, ran them on. We probably lost like literally 3 games and probably won like 13. Because y'all had a slow start that year. But I don't know if it was, I give myself some props, pat myself on, but I don't know if it was a spark. Because D-Miles was in the jail when we got traded and we started getting. Because we was actually at the end of that season, we was actually 4 games out the playoff because they traded for Theo Radcliffe and Sharif Abdul-Rahim. But I remember
new blood.
I remember I kept on begging you like, you gotta stay because we got Zebo on this block. I got you on that block. We got DA over there. I'm running the 3. We got Damon playing the point. And then when I see you win a championship with the Detroit Pistons, and I be like, damn. Chauncey Billups is Damon Stoudemire. Richard Hammond is Derek Anderson. Tayshaun Prince, me. They got Sheed, Ben Wallace. We got a kind of a better score than Ben Wallace.
You gotta give me that ball earlier than that. I'm wide open.
And
like,
Zebo.
what the fuck made
and I see you win the championship, and I just remember you get out of here.
That make no sense.
I seen when you was at the wrestling match. I mean, they had a wrestling match at the Rose.
That's when I found out.
And I'm walking, me and Zebo, and then we walking there, and you like, D-Miles, I told you, I'm up out this joint, I'm gonna see y'all boys later. And I ain't see you no more after that, man. But I wanted you to play, I just wanted to play with that team. And Portland Trail Blazers made the playoffs 22 years in a row. The year I get there, they don't make that bitch no more for another 5, 6, 7.
He thought he was on his way. He thought he was well on his way.
So you like owe me one. Believe in us like this.
It was 7 years, but no, it was the new GM that they brought in. Yeah. I knew I was out. And like you said, things was looking up. It was a good situation. Mo was our coach. O'Cheeks is our coach, and everything was cool.
Yeah.
And boom, man, we get a new GM, and John Nash came in. That's the first thing I told Mo. I said, "Oh, I'm out of here." And Mo looked at me like, "What?" Like, man, whatever, like nothing. And then I told y'all that. I knew he was the one who traded.
Man, give me that live, bro.
Yeah. So I don't know what it is because I never knew him in college or any of that. So I don't know what it was with his personal thing, as in to trade me. I guess with me, being the best piece of trade bait. That's all I could see. But I knew I was out of there. I told everybody. Fonzie, I told Zach, I told you. I was like, yo, Mo, I'm out of here. And it's not that I wanted to be out of here, but I knew he was going to trade me. He was either going to trade me or force my hand for me to say that I want out. But Paul Allen, rest his soul too. Paul Allen, that was my man. I ain't had no
man too.
No
Paul was my man.
Yeah, he was a great dude.
Great owner.
One of the very few great owners. Yeah. And dog, they
slipping on me now, bro. I don't know what y'all doing.
And saw what type of cats they were. I was like, look, hey, I said, it's going to be like it's 7 years. was he gonna get rid of everybody who makes a significant difference during the game. They want to go young, get all the nice guys in there because that's when we had the whole Jailblazers.
Come on,
team.
bro. Throw the
And
rock
I came
up.
in on the
Thank
back
you,
end
damn.
of that. I came in on the back end of that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So if I would have stayed, like if me and Bonzi or me and Damon would have stayed, yeah, you would have been labeled a Jailblazer too.
I know, I was labeled. I was with Zebo, so me and Zebo was the last of the Mohicans. But that was like, the reason I say that because, like I said, I see you win a championship with a team that's similar to the Blazer team that you left, and that was the best team in my NBA career that I had the opportunity to start with, and that was the best five I ever played with in my NBA career when I played with you, Zebo, DA, and Damon. And Nash signed me and told me like, yeah, I'm gonna give you all this money. You are a franchise player, but I'm gonna start Sharif. And I was like, I just started last year. Why you give me the money and tell me to come off the bench?
It ain't made no sense, did it?
Yeah, it was, and you told me to leave that motherfucker, but I can't pass up on $50 million if I ain't never had $50 million.
You got one of the weirdest stats. Like, you played one game for the Atlanta Hawks. Just one. Like, first, do you still have that jersey? Is it framed anywhere?
Yeah.
Like, it's part of the collect? Okay. But how was that experience for you to be like there for one game and then you off to the Pistons, and we know we're gonna talk about what happened out there, but how was that to be like you get traded, you know, from the Blazers to the Hawks and you there for one game?
It was awesome, man. It was awesome.
I
Real
got
talk.
you A-Town for a couple days.
So, I got traded during the whole All-Star break, so I had to go down there, and it was crazy when I went down there and checked into the hotel. What was there? They was having a national barber and hairdresser convention. I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay, this time's gonna start off here in the A, huh?
Some listeners might not know what's going on right now, but just know that if you like us, it was a good time.
Oh my God. So I'm down there, and down there for a couple of days, we practicing. So our first road game was against the defending Eastern Conference champs. At the time was the Nets with J Kidd, Kmart, Kerry Skittles,
RJ.
the RJ, that whole squad. So boom, we playing them in Jersey, and we almost got that game. But man, to play with Steve Jack and Jay Terry, I felt like back in Carolina, where I had a killer point guard, big point guard, Jason Terry. Had to respect him, and that was my J Mac. Then I had Steve Jack. He was my stack house. That wing player. He could shoot, dominant, athletic, and had that killer attitude too. I was like, man, I said, we can do something. I said, we can't make the playoffs. It's too late, but we can mess it up for everybody else. And that one game, man, I loved it. I was so looking forward to a home game.
So how was it in your mind when you get the news like right before the deadline that you about to get moved to the Pistons? You know what I'm saying? You already know what they. You know what I'm saying? You've been in the league enough to know them guys. You know what they bring. Then they got Coach Larry Brown, who a Carolina guy. You know him somewhat. Like, what was your thoughts headed into that situation?
I was thinking three things. One, damn, I was just talking shit to these guys 2 weeks ago when we was out there in Detroit. So now, same guys I talk shit to, now we teammates. So I hope that ain't taking personal.
Right.
And I was like, second, as you just mentioned, Q, with LB, Larry Brown, that whole Carolina connection, that made it comfortable, and that also put my mindset in, okay, I know what type of coach I have. I know what type of coach, he is. And that third was my man D Ham. I had knew D Ham from beforehand, Darvin Ham from beforehand, and just talking with him, and he was like, yo, you gonna love it, guys in school, there's no egos and this and that. I'm like, no, I said, dog, there's no way that you could be around 14 other professionals and nobody have an ego. I was like, there's no way. I said, I've seen it throughout the NBA, throughout professional sports. He's like, I'm telling you. And I'll be damned if he wasn't right. There was no ego. So when I got there, just trying to find my niche, because one, they were already a team, and they were already, to me, a pretty good team on the rise, especially when they had Rick Carlisle. So with with Chauncey again being blessed with another big point guard. Damon Stoudemire was the smallest point guard I played in my career, and just playing with that squad, figuring them out was like, all right, cool. But the hardest one for me to figure out was Ben, and reason being, come to find out, he was just like me. His birthday's like 2 weeks before mine, same year and everything. So I'm like, oh, all right, that's me. That's why he like that. So all right. But it was awesome though, man. I loved it, dog. You know, I felt it as being a fresh start. You know, I wish I could have still had at least a year or two of athleticism left, like I had in Portland, to bring it to Detroit.
I played for LB Coach Larry Brown, you know, in New York. You know, I got his one in New York was my first year there. So, and you know, we had a whole lot of ups and downs and struggling and stuff. But that was one of the things that you know, our coach is. He's like a teacher and a storyteller in a way when he's coaching you and stuff. So he would use you as an example all the time. He was like, we won a whole championship because we made one move and one guy came in and he was a linebacker. And he it didn't matter. You heard his voice everywhere, on the bus, in the locker room, all on the court. He was like, and that's what he was like, you have to be like that. He was like, he was the difference in us winning. And I feel like Coach Brown, I feel like he got a bad rap in New York with us because it was a crazy group, bro. Like, you know how it is in the league when you got a whole bunch of big name guys where they in at a turning point in their career or whatever that they going through, and everybody is bagged out. So it's like, you know, you got people with egos. Like, I got money, I can do this, I can do that, and it was one of the craziest years you would ever even imagine.
They have a wild year.
Whoa, boy, I'm just like, I'm talking about, I promise you, he used you as the example so many times, and like, boy, just always like, listen, this man came in with all the money. He already had money. It didn't matter. He could have, you know what I'm saying, did this and that. He came in and gave himself to the team. Like always, you know what I'm saying? You know, we always rock, but I just think about that when we talk about Coach B.
Man, LB, and I used to call him pound for pound. Like, I gotta agree with you, Q. He is a hell of a basketball coach, a great coach. He eats, sleep, drink, and shit basketball. You know, and it kills him. I know it's killing him now with this whole COVID situation and with gyms being closed. You know, it's killing LB right now because he just likes to teach basketball. And I think that's, again, as you mentioned, about the whole ego thing, and we didn't have that in Detroit. I think that's what made it to the point where, okay, like, we can rock and roll with LB, you know, because as a coach, now y'all know some coaches got bigger egos than the players that they're coaching. Yeah. So, but LB ain't have no egos. He's like, look, I just want to go out here, let's play some basketball, let's just win, give me everything you got, I'm gonna give you everything I got, and at the end of the day, go home and kiss the babies. And that's what I love about him, man. If you're not, LB is a mental coach. He's a mental coach for sure. If your mentality is just like, all right, I'm gonna just come in the gym, practice, and I'm going home, and he's your coach, you're not gonna like him. You know, 'cause, now he's making you late for lunch with, you know, your wife or your girlfriend, or, you know, now he's making you late for this appearance or that appearance because he got you in that gym. Work. Oh, yeah. That's all he want to do, work. And I remember his biggest slogan when I got to Detroit was, Cadillacs down there, worker bees down here. And at first I was like, man, what the hell? And then D-Ham was like, look, if you want to get some extra work in, go with the worker bees. But if you just chilling, want to get some shots up, talking shit, go down there with the Cadillac. And I was like, I said, all right, I got him, man. I got him.
I like that.
And that's all he is, man. LB, great guy too, man. He just loves basketball. He cares about his players. Even to this day, and if I'm not mistaken, he's one of very few coaches who could name damn near all his players on both levels, and he's the only coach to win NCAA and NBA championship. Head coach.
You almost had the opportunity to slay the giant by beating the Lakers with Portland. Then you get the opportunity to play them in a championship. Like take us back, like going into that series, because they coming off 3 straight. They got Shaq, Kobe, and plus they added a little bit more work in Malone and GP and all that.
And
so
legendary work.
So to coming into that, you know, a lot of people didn't have y'all to be favorites or have y'all to win shit out of that. Actually, probably had y'all to get swept. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But y'all came in, and y'all do the sweeping, and y'all do the ass kicking. Like, how was that? Just take us through the process of when y'all first started that series and getting to the end when you won that championship finally.
Game one, I felt before the tip off, I'm like, yo, this redemption for me. I'm like, here it is. I was just in this building a few years ago trying to get to an NBA Finals, but it fell apart for us. Then, you know, it fell apart for us quite a few times dealing with LA because that had a dynamic duo, man. That was Batman and Robin.
Bad
Batman
boy.
and Superman, whatever combo you want to say.
That was them.
They was them boys.
Straight up.
And for so many years to be sitting at home getting put out the playoff, playing until like, you know, beginning of May and losing to the Lakers in 5.
I'm playing with legendary killer, man. That nigga a shooter, bro.
He was in his Marshall
He a shooter, straight up.
Dallas mode. He was sitting there like, it's time. I got redemption on my back.
So I'm back. I said, I'm back. I said, I got a better defensive team. I got guys who are more team oriented and have the will to win. I was like, we gonna kick these guys' ass. And, you know, we all had that feeling going to that game one. The locker room, it's normal. It wasn't like, all right, everything wasn't quiet. It was like, oh, we got to focus. It's game one of the final. It was normal. That like we were pretty much arrogant. I'm not even gonna lie, but we knew what we could do, and we knew that they couldn't do nothing to do anything about what we was about to do to y'all. You know what I'm saying? So came out there, game one, ran them out the gym. Boom, and we played as a unit. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just one person, you know. We all could be averaging 30 on other teams, but no, we playing as that unit. Everybody, the bench included, we playing as that unit. So we like, all right. So game one, we like, all right, we stole one. We did what we were supposed to do. We had to get 1 out to 2 at home, in LA, excuse me. We did what we were supposed to do. So now, let's go out here at game 2. Let's go and get game 2. So boom, we go out game 2. Dogfight, and rest his soul, the great player that he is. Kobe hit a big shot for him to give them, you know, the go ahead. Boom. So now we going back to Detroit, 1-1. So we like, yo, on this plane ride, everything was normal for about the first hour or two. Guys playing cards, a couple guys watching movies, you know, other guys just chit chatting. But for some reason, it seems to be around the same time, and we all pretty much was thinking it and brought it up like, yo, y'all know we can't go back. Y'all know what's gonna happen if we go back. So we gonna have to end this right here in Detroit.
You gotta throw that live, bro.
That game 3 came out, 4, and then when we smelled that blood like that shark, you know, a shark can smell blood in the water up to 7 or 8 miles away. So and after we beat them, that game 4, smelled that blood. We like, oh, we got them. They ain't know what to do. LB mixed the whole game plan up. You know, like say the call might have been the Hawk, right? And so it's regular Hawk cut during the season. But in the playoffs and that championship series, the Hawk cut is something totally different. But they think and they scout like, oh, it's Hawk play. Oh man, hey, slice them through them like a hot knife through butter. And then we also said that we know that at the time, David Stern wanted to get at to him because it was his Hall of Fame team. You know, you got Hall of Fame Kobe, Hall of Fame Shaq, Hall of Fame Karl Malone, in my opinion, Hall of Fame GP. You know, you got Hall of Fame Derek Fisher. You know, you got a lot of Hall of Famers playing on this team. So yeah, it would have been a perfect storybook ending to beat us.
I feel like when I watched that series, like, y'all believed in the game plan. It just looked like y'all was just a team that just played together, believed in the game plan. Y'all didn't care who scored the point, long as it was more points than they had. Like, y'all just were playing around. On defense, y'all played as y'all all was on that road. Y'all always rotate. Y'all always doubling down, rotate. They couldn't, just because they swung it out. If they weren't swinging to the Kobe, they swung to everybody else. It didn't matter. Y'all wasn't doing too much in that.
I'm happy to say I got 2 NBA records that'll never be broken. One is getting 40-something technical in one season. I doubt that'll ever be broken. And then 2 was that defensive stint that we had when I was with the Pistons, when we had like 7, 8 games and held high-scoring teams under 70 points. And the crazy thing about it, I swear to y'all, the last 2 games that we did it, we tried to do it. But like the first 5 or 6 games we did it, we were just playing
the right way.
Yeah. And that was our slogan, D Miles. The right way.
That's Coach Brown's slogan. Play the right way. That's Coach. Listen, that's it.
Bro, you gotta throw that lob, man. Stop throwing that weak ass pass and throw the lob, bro.
You made to the top of the mountain. I seen you get the swaggy WWE belts made. Like, tell me what that was like. Like, now I'm a champion. Like, what's that feeling like?
It was nostalgic, man. It was you know how you ever heard the expression like, oh, I'm about to die, my life flashed before my eyes. Well, when that clock hit zeros, everything that I did up to that point flashed before my eyes.
Bro.
The hard work, standing out there, the bus stop.
Oh, man, I know you see me, bro.
You know, I got robbed a couple times, catch snatched my bus pass. You know, now
Cause what's the deal, bro? Why you won't pass the ball to the corner, man?
Push-ups and I couldn't do, or I had to do this and I couldn't do. All of that, and
that shit trash, bro.
Flash, and then to see that confetti come down, man, and then to hear Queen song play, "We Are the Champions," and then that material, that golden ball in your hand, it's like, yo, it was everything that I did, all the injuries, all the times that, you know, we lost, and all the fights that I had, and this and that. I said, all that's forgotten. It's worth it when you hold that ball.
All worth it.
Like, I'm at the top of the mountain now, sipping the juice. I'm the best in the world. We catching that fresh breeze. You know what I'm saying? And it was lovely, man. I'll never forget it. And the thing about it, each year after that, NBA Finals time, you know, it's nostalgic, bro. And, you know, we always, even to this day, we still text each other like, man, yo, y'all remember when we did this and that?
Man, shoot the ball, bro.
It's nostalgic. You'll never forget
what
it.
They're your brothers doing, man? Y'all playing like some assholes, bro.
After y'all won that championship, that next year y'all trying for it back-to-back, and y'all run into a team that's way more disciplined and don't feel like they don't have that type of swag as the Lakers have. You playing San Antonio, they basically a team like y'all. I felt it was a great matchup. I was so happy that they made it there, because it was like, man, I want to see these perfect 2 teams play with each other. Go through that process of how you think y'all lost that championship.
Oh, it was a lot, and I would have to say, you know, I added on to that. For number one, we knew that they were the NBA's team. David Stern loved them because at the time, and y'all can go back and look this up, his team of United, doing pre-games and, you know, this and that. His team United Nations, that was his biggest thing. And that's when he was trying to make that whole push and whole move to get the NBA over in China. So he's you know, glorifying the whole fact that, okay, here we have a team playing for the World Championship in the NBA, and it's only 2 or 3 Americans on there out of the 15 guys. My team in United Nations. So, one, we already knew what we was up against. And, yeah, I got to say, a lot of it canceled each other out. As far as the positions, as far as the coaches, it was a hell of a battle. And it just came down to, like, it was a whole lot more for it to fight, you know. Yeah, and y'all know what I'm talking about when you get them crews in there and, you know, them home crews and everything. So we knew what we were facing. We knew it was the uphill battle, but yeah, we're the champs. We were the champs, but we knew it was still an uphill battle for us. We knew we wasn't gonna get no home court love or none of that. And it was a hell of a match, though. Hell of a match, 7 games, and it came down to, I think we lost by like 6, 7. Yeah. So no, I don't regret it.
Talk about some of those, like y'all had some classic battles with LeBron and his Cavs team between 06 and 09. Tell me about how that was for y'all. Cause like y'all, I mean, I think y'all kind of helped him in his maturity. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was kind of like how y'all was a building. Y'all was a stepping stone in his thing. Like how the Mike had to get past the bad boys. Like y'all was kind of like a bad boy kind of deal for him. Like it took a couple years for him to climb that mountain on y'all. How was that? How was that battle for y'all?
I do gotta agree with you, Q. I think we did help with the maturation level of the way that LeBron plays now, especially when it's dealing with big games or in the playoffs. Because coming down there, no, we didn't make nothing easy for him. With some hard fouls. Then you had the whole beef with myself and Barajal, and then with all the other guys that they had on the team. So it was tough. It was nice. It was fun. I'll say that. The guy, he's a hell of a player, but it was always some great series. We loved going out there, and the fact that it was all in conference, only a couple hours away, they were always great series.
Nah, yeah, those series against y'all, man, was like once he finally broke through. I mean, he gained. For me, it was like a respect factor. I always had to guard and play against him. I used to be like, okay, but like I always wanted to see him just take over. Like when I don't remember what it was, he went for like 20 or 30 straight points on y'all, whatever. Like when he just went crazy, and I was like, okay, like this is the switch that I've been looking for in him. Like, cause like you say, from inception, since you've seen him, you knew he was special. You knew that he could do some of everything.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
And when he did that against y'all, cause it was like number one, he did it. But number two, it was against y'all. That was what made the respect factor go up. Like, look, this young this young boy just showed out right now. Like, all right, now gotta cut the shit. He just acted a fool for real. And it was like that was like when I had to start looking like, hold on, this motherfucker, he's super different with that shit. Like it was impressive.
Yeah, it was. Another one of my favorite players is Kevin Garnett. Like one of my favorite players. To see y'all, like how y'all embrace each other and y'all got the respect for each other, to get the opportunity to go to the Celtics and get the opportunity to play with your mans. Like, and I know how much y'all respect each other. How was that for you to just, you and your man, to actually be on the team and rock together on the NBA level?
Man, it made it easy. It was, the truth be told, it was like I looked at that same situation as myself and Dale Davis, with myself and Ben. And then with now myself and KG, I was thankful enough to be, paired up with another forward/center who is defensive minded.
Yeah.
And y'all know that's all KG is. He's gonna try to get in your head. He's gonna do everything he got to do before the game to get you psyched out, because that's half of the battle right there. And it's just his whole presence. Like he gets up for it, and that's like, all right. When at first I got there, I'm like, man, this dude crazy. But then, just being there and knowing him, I'm like, all right. I was like, man, this is gonna be a great year right here. And my first few practices, it was that starting five: Rondo, Paul, Ray, Kurt, KG, versus me, Big Baby, TA, Eddie House.
I wanted Posey still on that team?
No, I didn't play with Pose. Pose is going. I want to say it might have been Marquise Daniels, my man Keith, and Dog. So we in practice, and KG's KG. Oh yeah, y'all know. Oh, hold up, dog. I talked to her. We go back and forth, and at the end of practice, we all just sitting around, and Big Baby's like, man, I ain't never seen nobody go back and talk junk to KG like that before. He's like, I'm glad you here. I'm like, oh man, and we just all started cracking up though. But it was lovely though, man. It was lovely. It was a defensive
like y'all the mirror. Y'all looking at y'allself. Both y'all, like, just like you looking at him talking about you. This is crazy. Like, that's how we was all looking at you when you saw it. Like, man, this man crazy. He getting texts. He doing it like you crazy. So y'all look at each other the same way.
Yeah, and I'd say that the only difference between KG and I do agree with you. There's a lot of similarities. The only difference is I would say he's a better rebounder than I am, but I would have to say I'm a better shooter than he. But if you take that away, everything else is the same. Defensive minded, we're going to get you up, talk junk, blah, 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 blah. Forget everybody
else. Bro, what the fuck was that, bro?
Right now, it's all the same.
I've heard a lot of people, well, your former teammates.
So you had me running around all that shit, bro, and you don't
They
pass
can't
the
wait
ball,
for you to
man.
get the technical foul.
Come on,
They know when
G.
you
Way
get
better
it,
than that
they
shit,
know
bro.
what. No, I'm serious. Like I done literally, I heard Chauncey, I done heard these dudes, I heard Rip said like, nah.
Once he get his
when you
first,
get that
it's
technical,
ready.
like now he about to go hoop. Like, cause sometimes
Yeah.
you might be out there just chilling, not really gay, but then like if something get you upset, oh now it's about to be on. So what you think about that? That when you got the text, that sometimes turn your motor on and get you hyped up, like, oh, okay, that's what
yeah.
like, I'm about to go off now, like.
For sure. Sometimes it did, and I would definitely have to say, like, if the ref, all right, boom, you call a foul on me, all right, foul, can't go to the line. But then I go back down the other end, and you see him foul me, but you don't call nothing. But then you come back down the other end and you call pity pat foul. All right, I'm gonna let you have it now. So this is what I'm gonna do. Not only am I gonna talk shit to you, but I'm gonna make you call this foul. Hey, Chance, no, we're going to turn 4. Chance, right here, come on. Or at times when, you know, Chauncey or any other guys got mad, hey, all right, that's up. Hey, She, let's go. Come on. And so I'm going to make you call this foul. But I knew that I was never one of the favorites of the officials.
You grew up in Philly and you was a Knicks fan. They say once a Knick, always a Knicks. You got the opportunity to put a New York Knicks jersey on and play in the Garden, and you know, like for a basketball player, I don't give a fuck where you from. You always want to kind of do that or experience that at least one time in your career. How was that for you to experience that coming from Philly and just being around that?
And it was love. It was huge because I grew up a Knicks fan because of Pat Ewing, following him at Georgetown. You know, I always loved my Sixers, but when I had the opportunity when you know, Coach Woody called me, Mike Woodson, when he called me like, man, you know, what you doing? Might need your help a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And when I came up to see that team, the first when you walk into the Garden and, you know, you seeing those banners up there, it's a different feeling, real talk, when you playing against them. And, you know, you got that nostalgia and you hear the crowd and this and that. So you like, oh, man, this the Garden, this is what everybody, all the hubbub's about. But when you playing for them, it's a totally different experience when you walk in that Garden. It's like you automatically get smacked with the history. You know, you walking in the back hallway, you know, you seeing
pictures on the wall,
vibration. Yeah, you seeing all the
concerts and everything.
The players, like the boxing events, all
hockey, everything
in this building for the last like a cajillion years or whatever.
Right.
And so to be part of that, I was like, man, you know, I'm lucky, I'm thankful. I was like, this is. It was almost kind of sort of like a dream come true because I did especially when I was younger, wouldn't have mind playing for the Knicks because as I said, huge Patrick Ewing fan. So to see that and you know the practice facility and to me, it was a Class A organization from the way that they treated their players and everything like that. So I get a lot of flack because people are like, oh man, Dolan trash. They get rid of Dolan, this and that. And all I gotta tell people like, look, for my 1 year that I was there, Dolan was first class. You know, he wasn't never scared to come.
Listen, bro, I say a lot of times too, like, you know, I played 4 years there, so obviously people hit me with comments and this, that, and the third about Dolan and this, that, and the third, and he's the reason. I'm not ever trying to like say that this man is perfect because I don't know his life and I see a lot of things written about him. But like you say, I can speak to my experience with him in my 4 years as a player and the things that I observed and the people that I know there, that what they observed. So like when I talk to a person like John Wallace, like, you know what I'm saying, you'd be hard pressed to find like I don't know the facts or the numbers, but you can look at a lot of teams and you go look at that Knicks organization. It's a whole lot of dudes that play for that team that's being employed and working within that organization and has been for a long time, like not just recently because he take like this has just been how he operated with those guys. And those guys all to a man be like, man, look, man, He ain't like, all right, whatever. He ain't perfect, but it ain't nowhere near as bad as they trying to make like he's the sole reason. I don't believe that he's the sole reason that the Knicks aren't successful. I think it's a joint
Collective
effort of a lot of
effort.
joint
Exactly.
effort of a lot of different things going on, and it's not just him. And I think like they think that if, you know, he just sell the team like the problem is solved, I think they would quickly find that it was still not just over with. You know what I'm saying? It's not that simple.
Fact that. For sure. I got to agree with you there.
That was my only time that I was really like a teammate of she. We got a little stint together then, you know what I'm saying? I was riding to the airport with him and all that. He was picking me up. We had the Camaro playing the song,
Yes, sir.
the pull up song. He got his pull up song like that was like we kinda really retired together because like that was it for me and then that was like it for you. Like we kinda that was it. Like we got that was the last little time we lost in that playoffs to the Pacers. They put us out, and then you know that was kind of it for us. So you know, just gonna throw
That was a hell of a year too. Look, so I say this: I got a scoring championship, I won an NBA title, and I got a six-man. My six-man scoring championship came from the Knicks. Was JR got the six-man, and that's when Melo had got the scoring title. And man, just that whole year, I think we won like what 52, 53 games.
They was the number one seed. Yeah, we was number one seed.
All that, man. That was the last time. I would say the last hoorah that they had.
I set out. You remember I got way. That was my last year. I got waived out of Magic after training camp. Set out the whole year. And the Knicks signed me 2 days, bro. 2 days before the end of the season. You were there. You can vouch for this. Remember the game I played? I had to play all the minutes, and I threw up walking into halftime. bro, I was trying to make it on the court. Yeah. And look, I didn't know. You remember they had remodeled the guard, so I'm oblivious. I don't know. Bro, I'm trying. Let me tell you what happened. This was the worst part. Like they had clinched the number one seed, so they resting people. No Melo, no Tyson Chandler, no all these people. They sitting them out. So we sitting there. It's like it's about to be me, Pablo Prigion. We only had literally like 6 dudes. Like they made JR just put a warm up on. He didn't have a jersey on because he wasn't gonna get. But you gotta officially have 8. You gotta have 8 bodies out there officially. We had remember Earl Barron. We had signed Earl.
Yep. Yep.
Bro, first quarter, Pablo Prigioni twisted his ankle. He done. So now we down to 6 players, bro. I ain't played all year. Now this is when I know I could be factual and tell anybody want this. I don't give a damn about no treadmill. I don't give a damn about riding no bike. I don't give a damn about running around no neighborhood. I did all 3 in Orlando, hot as hell, Florida, running and all this. Man, I got my ass out there. Soon as he went down, I saw I had to play the extra minutes. I just started praying. I was like, please let me make it through this, bro. Like that halftime buzzer thing went off, and I felt like somebody had to punch me in the stomach. But I walked so slow. I was walking so slow and focused. I'm holding my breath so I don't make sure I don't swallow the wrong way. It don't come. Well, I said, man, as soon as I hit the curtains, and I'm like, come on, I'm like, free. Throw it right there, right? Bro, they didn't change the whole background. They got the whole courtside club with the glasses right here. Everybody looking. I'm like, oh, they come get me through. I'm like, man, I don't care. I'm like, they clean. I say, man, look, they was like,
oh, you
I went out
like this.
Man, dog, I was so unfair. They came cleaned up real quick. I finished the game. I played the game. I ain't do shit. I got 11 rebounds though, bro. I ain't score no. I think I made it score 1 bucket, but got me some boards. You know what I'm saying?
It was a great year, man.
Fun team. That team was so fun. Though. Like, tell them how crazy Iman Shumpert was. Was he not hilarious?
Jump, Q, myself, Kurt Thomas, Marcus Camby,
Tyson
Chandler,
Camby, my homeboy Cam.
Jay Smith. Yeah, I said Marcus. Pablo Prigioni, Ronnie Brewer. Melo. Who else? I think I'm missing one more. But it was a hell of a team, and with it being a veteran team.
Did you say J Kidd? Did you put J Kidd in there?
Yeah, I put J Kidd in there. You know, everybody was in their lane, and all the veteran dudes for the most part, we always just hanging out together. It was like, man, a country club. That's I
tell Shump every single time. I can't think about him. Like if I see him on social media and everything, I always think of him in that Rick Ross song, You Don't Need No. Remember how he played that before every single playoff game? And that boy went to dancing and doing his own rap. Before
Doing
every
that
year,
old
I
Chicago dances.
some boy kept it lit, but it was never a
crazy on us, bro.
Boy, I swear.
And he had bars.
Bars, still do.
Yeah.
Tell me this: when, where, how did Ball Don't Lie begin? Where's the birth of Mr. Ball Don't Lie? Please.
You know, it's just regular talk that we all do on the schoolyard, man. You know, I'm pretty sure it's some sayings that from y'all hoods where y'all grew up at, you know, out there in the loo and everything. I know y'all got y'all own slang and everything, so it's just all schoolyard talk. And one day, you know, I heard guys in my neighborhood saying, that ball don't lie. You know, when a guy, we all been through it, boom, called a foul on so here it go, boom, boom, boom. You got the ball back and you take another shot and you miss it, and the opposing people get the rebound. Yeah, that ball don't lie with your cheating ass.
Alright.
And so it just came out one day. I just blurted it out. You know, just going back to it because I was upset with the official for calling a bogus call for the cat that was on the line. And when he trunked that first one, where them 3 words are formed.
We play a game on here where we say start, bench, cut. You know what I'm saying? So for you, start, bench, cut. Chris Webber, Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett. Who would you start? Who would you bench? Who would you cut?
Ooh, all right. What era? Talking about
they all in their prime. They all in their prime.
Damn, that's hard. Damn, you said three big names too.
You know, you
right,
cutting
so
Webb.
You
starting KG.
Start. Me personally, way out there, I'm gonna start KG.
Right. You gonna bench off the bench and you gonna cut Webb.
Or even more defense. But I would have to cut Webb because out of the 3, he's the
least superior.
No, it ain't even a matter of a chip. He's the worst defender out of the 3.
I know something I wanted to ask you. I always wanted to ask you. How in the fuck do you play in Air Force One high top?
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say, like,
nobody in the I ain't seen nobody since the '80s wearing no flat shoes and hooping them up. Like,
but
how did you pull that off? And like, how did you pull it off?
You made that a signature shoe. Like like not only how did you pull it off, but like how much.
Them the sheaths. They don't call them the high tops. Them sheaths. You get them low tops, but them high tops, them sheaths.
But the whole hood has to respect and love it. That's the hood shoe of America.
In Philly and all our hoods, that's you know, it's like the hood shoes, the Cadillac of shoes in the hood.
That was the most expensive. That was the shoe you could afford. That was the nicest. That was you know what I'm saying?
$75.
Man.
For any color, $75. So when I got to the league, the reason that I did wear them was because they were the only true high top sneakers. It was either going to be wearing Air Force Ones or I don't know if y'all remember the David Robinsons that had the little little air pump joint.
Yeah.
Air Force Ones or the David Robinsons. I was like, all right, I'm not going to wear another dude's shoe who I don't know. That's how I didn't know David Robinson or anything about him. So I went with the Air Force One. But what made it easy to wear was the orthotics. You know, take the regular flat insole out like you said, and you know you put that orthotic in and it's molded to your foot. But my main thing was just the protection of my ankles, man. That's why I always wore high tops. Like to see big men now hooping Kobe's or KD's, that's low tops. And like, yo, you will shatter your ankle in them joints, B.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I gotta protect the money maker somehow, somewhere. So your knees, to me, protect your back, your knees, and your ankle / feet.
Yeah. Right.
Oh no, you was out there looking fresher than a motherfucker though.
Like, how did that feel though?
Like, sure of that.
How did that feel like when they came? You like, all right, like we gonna make these up. We gonna put your fadeaway zone on the back. Like how did like you know what I'm saying? It's one thing for you to be, all right, I choose this shoe, I'm gonna wear this, but then when a company come to you and they like, we rocking with you, we want to make this a PE shoe for you, make it like your shoe, like the you the only dude is known as like the Air Force One was your shoe.
Man, me and my brother was geek. You know, we was geek, like, cause they gave me a blank template. It was like, look, come up with some color combinations, or you know, the different materials or whatever, and you know, we see what we working with. So some of the things they listened to, some of them didn't. But I will say that the hottest pair of Air Force Ones I ever had, and I got them around here somewhere, is I asked them to make me a pair of Air Force One cleats, and this was back in '97. So I got them joints around here somewhere, and now if you look at it, they got all the basketball shoes down there
That's
are cleats too.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but matter of fact, I got one right here. I give y'all this.
Oh.
Yeah. Last time I wore this shoe was Game 5. Last time I wore this shoe, so I had. You can see ain't nothing in there now. I had to take my thigh down.
They gotta come with you. They gotta go to the next shoe.
Sure.
One of the things, like just talking about your game wise, that I always loved about your game and the way you play, your high arcing jump shot. Like, who taught you that high arcing jump shot, and when did you learn to shoot that jump shot with that such high arc?
My oldest brother taught me how to shoot. He was the jump shot shooter in the family, and my middle brother was the dunker. So my oldest brother, and it was a young lady by the name of, I want to say Carolyn, lived across the street from, she was older than me. I had a little crush on her. You know, she was all city in basketball. And playing her in a game of one-on-one one day, she also told me, you know, don't shoot the ball in front of your face like this and all that, like we all did as kids, trying to make sure that we get it up there. She was like, hold it on the side of your face and all of that. So after that, it was, all right, I'm gonna just put it up there as high as I can so it can't get blocked. And it just turned into that jump shot, just playing, and it turned into that post move, turned into that fadeaway, turned into that three, and so forth, so on.
Who did you grow up like watching that you was like emulating, like, man, I want to be like that player, them the players that I wanted to see? Because I know you started late, so if you started late, you probably